Question 1. A project manager is leading a critical infrastructure project in a highly regulated industry. During project execution, a newly discovered environmental regulation is enacted, which significantly impacts the project's planned construction methods and materials, potentially causing substantial delays and cost overruns. The project team has already completed 40% of the work. What should the project manager do first? A. Halt all construction activities immediately until the new regulation is fully understood and a revised plan is approved. B. Issue a change request to modify the project management plan to comply with the new regulation. C. Consult with legal and environmental experts to understand the full implications and potential solutions. D. Inform the project sponsor and key stakeholders about the new regulation and its potential impact. Answer: C. Consult with legal and environmental experts to understand the full implications and potential solutions. When a significant external factor like a new regulation emerges, the project manager's immediate priority is to thoroughly understand its specific impact on the project before making decisions or communicating definitive impacts. Consulting with relevant experts, such as legal or environmental specialists, is crucial to accurately assess the scope of the change, identify compliance requirements, and explore viable technical or procedural solutions. Only with this foundational understanding can the project manager effectively formulate a change request, communicate informed impacts to stakeholders, or consider halting activities. This proactive assessment minimizes reactive decisions and ensures the project maintains compliance while navigating new external constraints. Always seek expert advice to understand complex external factors before acting. Question 2. A large, complex project is experiencing consistent delays in task completion, primarily due to team members being pulled onto other urgent operational work. The project manager has identified that resource contention is the root cause. Which of the following conflict resolution techniques is most appropriate for the project manager to employ with the functional managers responsible for the resources? A. Compromise/reconcile. B. Smooth/accommodate. C. Collaborate/problem solve. D. Force/direct. Answer: C. Collaborate/problem solve. Resource contention is a common issue in matrix organizations where project managers share resources with functional managers. The most effective conflict resolution technique in such situations is collaborate/problem solve, as it involves openly discussing the issue, seeking win-win solutions that address the concerns of all parties, and finding a mutually agreeable way to allocate resources to meet both project and operational needs. Compromising might lead to suboptimal solutions for both sides, while smoothing avoids the issue, and forcing can damage relationships. Collaborating fosters a shared understanding and commitment to finding the best overall solution, which is essential for long-term organizational effectiveness and project success. Always strive for a collaborative solution when dealing with shared resources. Question 3. During a project's execution phase, the quality control team identifies that a critical component, sourced from a new vendor, consistently fails to meet specified performance thresholds. This issue was not anticipated during risk planning. What should the project manager do first? A. Revert to using the previous, more expensive vendor immediately to avoid further delays. B. Update the risk register with the new quality issue and categorize it. C. Initiate a change request to adjust the quality requirements or procurement plan. D. Conduct a root cause analysis to determine why the component is failing and why the risk was not identified. Answer: D. Conduct a root cause analysis to determine why the component is failing and why the risk was not identified. When a significant quality defect is discovered, especially one that was not identified as a risk, the most critical first step is to perform a root cause analysis. This process helps determine not only why the component is failing, e.g., manufacturing defect, design flaw, incorrect specifications, but also why this risk was missed during initial planning. Understanding the root cause is essential for implementing an effective corrective action that prevents recurrence and for improving future risk identification processes. Without understanding the root cause, any attempted solution might only address symptoms, and the underlying problem could persist. Always investigate the why before deciding on the what to do. Question 4. A project manager on an Agile project is experiencing significant scope creep, as stakeholders frequently introduce new high-priority features mid-sprint. The product owner is struggling to manage these requests effectively. What is the most appropriate action for the project manager to take? A. Advocate for a strict change control board process to manage all scope changes. B. Educate stakeholders on the Agile principles of adaptive planning and the importance of stable sprints. C. Direct the product owner to reject all new feature requests once a sprint has begun. D. Add all new requests to the product backlog and have the product owner reprioritize them. Answer. B. Educate stakeholders on the Agile principles of adaptive planning and the importance of stable sprints. In an Agile environment, frequent mid-sprint scope changes indicate a misunderstanding of how Agile works, particularly the concept of a stable sprint commitment. While the product backlog is dynamic, the sprint backlog should remain stable to allow the team to focus and deliver. The project manager's role is to facilitate understanding and adherence to Agile principles, so educating stakeholders on adaptive planning means scope can change between sprints, but not typically within them without significant disruption. This education helps stakeholders understand the value of sprint stability and encourages them to channel requests through the product owner for future sprints, thereby maintaining the team's focus and productivity. Promote understanding over enforcement in Agile transitions. Question 5. During the closure phase of a large, multi-year project, the project manager discovers that several outstanding invoices from a key vendor have not been paid, and some deliverables were accepted without formal sign-off. What is the project manager's primary responsibility in this situation? A. Document these issues as lessons learned for future projects. B. Inform the finance department to process the outstanding invoices immediately. C. Rectify all open items, including financial closures and formal acceptance of deliverables. D. Terminate the vendor contract and initiate legal action for non-compliance. Answer. C. Rectify all open items, including financial closures and formal acceptance of deliverables. Project closure involves ensuring all administrative, contractual, and financial obligations are met, and that all deliverables are formally accepted. Discovering outstanding invoices and unsigned deliverables means the project is not truly closed. The project manager's primary responsibility is to actively ensure all these open items are completed and reconciled. This includes working with finance to pay vendors, obtaining formal acceptance for deliverables, and ensuring all contractual obligations are met. Without proper closure, the organization remains exposed to financial or contractual liabilities. Remember, a project isn't truly done until all loose ends are tied up, both contractually and financially. Question 6. A project manager is leading a highly innovative project with significant technological uncertainty. The team frequently encounters unforeseen technical challenges requiring extensive research and development. Which contract type would be most suitable for procuring a key, specialized component from an external vendor under these circumstances? A. Fixed price, FP. B. Cost plus incentive fee, CPAF. C. Time and material, TNM. D. Firm fixed price, FFP. Answer. C. Time and material, TNM. When there is significant technological uncertainty, as implied by extensive research and development and unforeseen technical challenges, the scope and effort required from a vendor are difficult to estimate accurately. Fixed-price contracts place all the risk on the seller and are unsuitable for uncertain scopes, while cost-plus incentive fee shares risk but still requires some scope definition. Time and material, TNM, Contracts are best suited for situations where the scope is not precisely defined, and the duration of work is uncertain, allowing flexibility for both the buyer and seller. The buyer pays for the actual time spent and materials used, providing a balance of risk where the buyer retains some control over costs through oversight and defined hourly rates. Choose TNM when you know the problem but not the exact solution or effort needed. Question 7. A project team is highly experienced and self-organizing. The project manager finds that the team is proficient in identifying risks and even proposing mitigation strategies. However, the team often delays documenting these risks and decisions in the risk register, leading to a lack of centralized oversight and potential missed opportunities for coordinated risk response. What should the project manager do? A. Mandate daily risk review meetings to ensure immediate documentation. B. Implement a strict process with penalties for non-compliance with documentation standards. C. Facilitate a discussion with the team to understand their challenges with documentation and collaboratively refine the process. D. Take over the documentation task personally to ensure it is completed on time. Answer: C. Facilitate a discussion with the team to understand their challenges with documentation and collaboratively refine the process. For experienced and self-organizing teams, a top-down mandate or punitive measure is generally counterproductive and can undermine autonomy and morale. The issue here is a process breakdown, not a lack of capability. The most effective approach for a servant leader project manager is to understand the team's perspective and challenges regarding documentation. By facilitating a collaborative discussion, the team can identify bottlenecks or inefficiencies in the current process and collectively develop a more streamlined and acceptable way to document risks, ensuring buy-in and adherence. Trust the team to help build the solution, they're the ones doing the work. Question 8. The project sponsor expresses concern that the project's current estimated cost at completion, EAC, is significantly higher than the budget at completion, BAC, indicating a potential budget overrun. The project manager has identified that this variance is primarily due to unexpected increases in material costs that are unlikely to stabilize. What is the most appropriate action for the project manager to take regarding future budget management? A. Reduce project scope to bring the EAC in line with the BAC. B. Request additional funding from the sponsor to cover the increased costs. C. Revise the cost baseline to reflect the new EAC, ensuring it aligns with the updated budget. D. Focus on accelerating the schedule to complete the project faster and potentially reduce overall expenses. Answer: C. Revise the cost baseline to reflect the new EAC, ensuring it aligns with the updated budget. When the estimated cost at completion, EAC, consistently exceeds the budget at completion, BAC, due to factors like increased material costs that are unlikely to stabilize, it indicates a fundamental shift in the project's financial reality. The project manager's most appropriate action is to formally revise the cost baseline through the change control process. This acknowledges the new financial reality, provides a realistic target for remaining work, and ensures that future performance is measured against an achievable baseline, rather than an outdated one. Requesting additional funding might be a consequence of this revision, and reducing scope or accelerating schedule are potential solutions, but revising the baseline formalizes the financial understanding. Acknowledge and formalize changes to your baseline to maintain a realistic performance measurement. Question 9. During project execution, a team member consistently misses deadlines and produces deliverables that require significant rework, despite repeated coaching and training. The project manager has already tried several direct interventions. What should the project manager's next step be? A. Replace the team member immediately to avoid further project delays. B. Escalate the performance issue to the functional manager or HR department. C. Reassign the team member to less critical tasks to minimize impact. D. Document the performance issues and interventions in the project's performance reports. Answer: B. Escalate the performance issue to the functional manager or HR department. When a project manager has directly addressed a performance issue through coaching and training without success, and the issue continues to impact project progress significantly, the next appropriate step is to escalate. Escalating to the functional manager, who has line authority over the team member, or HR, is crucial because they possess the disciplinary authority and resources, e.g., formal performance improvement plans, that a project manager typically does not have. This action respects organizational hierarchies and ensures the issue is handled through formal HR processes, providing the best chance for resolution. Remember, project managers manage the project, while functional managers manage the people and their long-term development. Question 10. A hybrid project is underway, combining Agile development for software components and a predictive approach for hardware integration. The project manager observes that the hardware team is struggling with frequent changes in requirements stemming from the Agile software sprints, leading to rework and frustration. What is the most effective approach for the project manager to address this issue? A. Implement a more stringent change control process for all hardware requirements. B. Isolate the hardware team from the software team's daily stand-ups to reduce exposure to changes. C. Facilitate regular coordination meetings between the hardware and software leads to anticipate and manage dependencies. D. Require the software team to finalize all requirements before passing them to the hardware team. Answer: C. Facilitate regular coordination meetings between the hardware and software leads to anticipate and manage dependencies. In a hybrid project, the key challenge lies in managing the interfaces and dependencies between different life cycle approaches. The predictive hardware team needs more stable requirements than an Agile software team typically provides. Simply imposing a strict change control or isolating teams would negate the benefits of agility or create silos. The most effective strategy is to improve communication and collaboration between the two sub-teams. Facilitating regular coordination meetings allows the hardware team to gain early visibility into potential software changes, anticipate their impact, and plan for them, while the software team can understand hardware constraints. This proactive communication minimizes rework and integrates the different work streams smoothly. Enhanced communication is the bridge in hybrid projects. Question 11. During a stakeholder engagement review, the project manager notices that a key stakeholder, initially classified as high power and high interest, has become disengaged and is not providing necessary input for critical decisions. The project's success is highly dependent on this stakeholder's contributions. What should the project manager do first? A. Reclassify the stakeholder as low interest and reduce communication efforts. B. Report the disengagement to the project sponsor for intervention. C. Schedule a one-on-one meeting with the stakeholder to understand their concerns or reasons for disengagement. D. Distribute a detailed report highlighting the impact of their non-participation on the project. Answer: C. Schedule a one-on-one meeting with the stakeholder to understand their concerns or reasons for disengagement. A disengaged key stakeholder, especially one critical for project success, is a significant risk. The project manager's first action should be to understand the root cause of the disengagement. A direct, one-on-one meeting is the most effective way to uncover underlying issues, such as workload, misunderstandings, loss of perceived value, or conflicts of interest. This empathetic and proactive approach allows the project manager to address concerns directly and re-engage the stakeholder before the issue escalates or impacts project delivery. Reporting to the sponsor or sending reports might be necessary later, but understanding the situation first is paramount. Always seek to understand before seeking to be understood, especially with key stakeholders. Question 12. A project manager is reviewing the project's current performance and observes that the Cost Performance Index, CPI, is 0.85 and the Schedule Performance Index, SPI, is 1.10. What do these values indicate about the project's status? A. The project is over budget and ahead of schedule. B. The the project is under budget and behind schedule. C. The project is over budget and behind schedule. D. The project is under budget and ahead of schedule. Answer: A. The project is over budget and ahead of schedule. The Cost Performance Index, CPI, indicates the efficiency of budget utilization, where a CPI less than 1.0 means the project is over budget, i.e., less value earned per dollar spent. A CPI of 0.85, therefore, means the project is over budget. The Schedule Performance Index, SPI, indicates the efficiency of time utilization, where an SPI greater than 1.0 means the project is ahead of schedule, i.e., more work completed than planned for the time elapsed. An SPI of 1.10 means the project is ahead of schedule. Combining these, the project is over budget and ahead of schedule. Remember, for CPI and SPI, values less than 1 are bad, and values greater than 1 are good. Question 13. An Agile team is experiencing frequent impediments that are slowing down their progress, many of which require external support or organizational changes beyond the team's control. The Scrum Master is diligently recording these impediments but is struggling to get them resolved by the relevant external parties. What is the most effective way for the project manager, serving as an organizational facilitator or coach, to support the Scrum Master and the team? A. Take over the responsibility of resolving all external impediments directly. B. Advise the Scrum Master to escalate unresolved impediments to the product owner for resolution. C. Work with organizational leaders and stakeholders to remove systemic impediments and foster a supportive environment. D. Conduct a retrospective with the team to identify internal process improvements that might reduce external dependencies. Answer: C. Work with organizational leaders and stakeholders to remove systemic impediments and foster a supportive environment. While the Scrum Master is responsible for removing impediments, when those impediments are systemic, organizational, or require authority beyond the Scrum Master's reach, the project manager, or an Agile coach/leader, steps in as a servant leader to help. The most effective action is to address the root causes at an organizational level by engaging with leadership and stakeholders to resolve these larger, recurring impediments. Taking over all resolutions might create a bottleneck, and escalating to the product owner often isn't appropriate for organizational issues. Focusing only on internal improvements won't solve external blockers. The project manager facilitates changes in the organizational ecosystem to enable Agile teams to thrive. Your role as a PMP in an Agile context often involves clearing organizational roadblocks. Question 14. A project manager is conducting a procurement audit for a completed phase of a large IT project. During the audit, it is discovered that several contracts had vague statements of work, leading to disputes and change orders during execution. What is the most important lesson learned from this situation for future procurements? A. The importance of negotiating lower prices for future contracts. B. The need for more frequent communication with vendors during execution. C. The critical role of well-defined and clear statements of work, SOWs, in procurement. D. The necessity of involving legal counsel in all contract negotiations. Answer: C. The critical role of well-defined and clear statements of work, SOWs, in procurement. Vague statements of work, SOWs, are a primary cause of contract disputes, scope creep, and change orders because they lead to misinterpretations of deliverables and responsibilities between the buyer and seller. A procurement audit that uncovers such issues highlights the importance of creating extremely clear, comprehensive, and unambiguous SOWs during the planning stages of procurement. While other options like communication or legal counsel are important, they are secondary to the fundamental clarity required in the SOW itself, which defines what is to be delivered. A precise SOW acts as the blueprint for successful procurement, preventing misunderstandings and ensuring both parties have a shared understanding of expectations. Question 15. The project sponsor has requested an urgent meeting to discuss the project's progress. The project manager needs to provide a concise summary that includes the current status against the baseline, potential risks, and forecasts. Which project document would be the most efficient and comprehensive source for preparing this update? A. Work performance data. B. Stakeholder engagement plan. C. Project management plan. D. Performance measurement baseline. Answer: D. Performance measurement baseline. The performance measurement baseline, PMB, is the integrated baseline that includes the scope, schedule, and cost baselines. It's the critical reference point against which project performance is measured, enabling the project manager to report on actual progress versus planned progress. To discuss current status against the baseline, potential risks, and forecasts, the PMB, combined with work performance information, derived from work performance data compared against the PMB, provides the most comprehensive and direct source. Work performance data is raw observation, the project management plan is the overarching document, and the stakeholder engagement plan focuses on communication strategy, not performance. The PMB is your go-to for assessing where you truly stand against your original plan. Question 16. A project manager is leading a global project with team members distributed across multiple time zones and cultures. Communication effectiveness is identified as a major challenge, leading to misunderstandings and delays. What is the most important communication management strategy for the project manager to implement to mitigate this challenge? A. Mandate that all team members use a single communication platform for all interactions. B. Schedule all meetings during a time convenient for the majority of team members. C. Establish clear communication protocols, including preferred methods, timing, and cultural considerations. D. Rely primarily on written communication to avoid misinterpretation due to accents or time zone differences. Answer: C. Establish clear communication protocols, including preferred methods, timing, and cultural considerations. In a globally distributed and culturally diverse team, simply using a single platform or relying solely on written communication isn't enough to ensure effective communication. The most impactful strategy is to establish explicit communication protocols within the communication management plan. These protocols should define how, when, and with whom information is shared, preferred communication channels, e.g., email for formal notices, video calls for discussions, and crucially, account for cultural nuances and time zone differences. This proactive approach sets clear expectations and builds a framework for consistent and respectful information exchange, minimizing misunderstandings. A strong communication plan is the backbone of virtual team success. Question 17. The project manager has identified a significant risk with a high probability and high impact. The team has developed a robust risk response plan to mitigate this risk, involving significant upfront investment. However, the project sponsor is hesitant to approve the investment due to budget constraints. What should the project manager do? A. Proceed with the risk response plan and absorb the cost, hoping to recover it later. B. Reevaluate the risk probability and impact to see if the assessment can be reduced. C. Present a comprehensive analysis to the sponsor, outlining the potential financial and project impact of not investing in the mitigation. D. Transfer the risk to a third party through insurance or a different contractual arrangement. Answer: C. Present a comprehensive analysis to the sponsor, outlining the potential financial and project impact of not investing in the mitigation. When a project sponsor is hesitant about a risk mitigation investment due to budget constraints, the project manager's primary role is to provide a clear, data-driven justification. This means articulating the potential negative consequences, both financial, e.g., cost of rework, delays, penalties, and project-related, e.g., scope reduction, quality issues, reputation damage, if the mitigation plan is not approved. This transparent communication helps the sponsor understand the cost of doing nothing and make an informed decision by weighing the investment against the potential cost of the risk event occurring. Don't just present the cost of mitigation, also present the cost of not mitigating. Question 18. A project manager is inheriting a project mid-execution. The previous project manager left abruptly, and many project artifacts are disorganized or missing. The current team is highly self-organizing and experienced in their technical domains but lacks clarity on overall project goals and stakeholder expectations. What should the project manager prioritize upon taking over? A. Rebuilding all missing project documentation from scratch. B. Immediately accelerating project tasks to make up for lost time. C. Engaging with key stakeholders and the team to re-establish shared understanding of objectives and expectations. D. Conducting a comprehensive audit of all completed work to assess quality. Answer: C. Engaging with key stakeholders and the team to re-establish shared understanding of objectives and expectations. When inheriting a project, especially one with missing documentation and unclear objectives, the most crucial first step is to establish a shared understanding of the project's purpose, goals, and stakeholder expectations with both the team and key stakeholders. While documentation is important, clarity on objectives drives all subsequent work. Without this shared understanding, the team, even if self-organizing, might be working towards misaligned goals, leading to inefficiency and rework. Engaging directly fosters trust, aligns everyone, and provides the foundation for effective planning and execution moving forward. Always prioritize alignment and understanding when taking over a project. Question 19. An organization is considering initiating a new large-scale project that has the potential for significant societal impact, both positive and negative. Before proceeding, what document or analysis is most critical for the project manager to review or help develop to understand the project's long-term viability and ethical considerations beyond immediate financial returns? A. Business case. B. Project charter. C. Benefits management plan. D. Value stream mapping. Answer: A. Business case. The business case is the foundational document that justifies a project's existence. It typically includes an analysis of the problem or opportunity, available options, a recommended solution, and a comprehensive analysis of costs, benefits, and risks. For a project with significant societal impact, the business case would extend beyond immediate financial returns to include broader considerations like ethical implications, environmental impact, social responsibility, and long-term viability, aligning with the business environment, performance domain and value delivery. While a benefits management plan outlines how benefits will be maximized, the business case initially defines why the project should be undertaken at all, including these broader impacts. The business case is your project's foundational why, encompassing all its intended and potential impacts. Question 20. During project execution, a project manager discovers that a critical team member, whose expertise is vital for a specific technical deliverable, has resigned with immediate effect. This creates a significant gap in the project's resource plan and threatens a key milestone. What is the project manager's most immediate course of action? A. Notify the project sponsor and key stakeholders about the resource loss and potential impact. B. Update the project management plan and resource management plan to reflect the change. C. Initiate a process to find a replacement immediately, considering both internal and external options. D. Assess the impact on the project schedule, cost, and quality objectives. Answer: D. Assess the impact on the project schedule, cost, and quality objectives. While all other options are important and subsequent steps, the most immediate course of action when a critical resource leaves unexpectedly is to assess the impact. Without understanding the specific effect on the project schedule, budget, quality, and scope, the project manager cannot effectively communicate with stakeholders, update plans, or prioritize replacement efforts. An impact assessment quantifies the problem, allowing for informed decision-making regarding the urgency and type of response required, e.g., fast-tracking, reprioritizing, or seeking a specific replacement skill set. You must know the extent of the damage before you can effectively plan the repair. Question 21. A project manager has just completed the close project or phase process. Which of the following is the final formal output or action indicating the project is truly complete from an organizational perspective? A. Final product, service, or result transition. B. Release of team members. C. Administrative closure procedures completed. D. Formal project or phase acceptance. Answer: D. Formal project or phase acceptance. While all the options are activities or outputs of the close project or phase process, the final formal output that indicates the project is truly complete from an organizational perspective is the formal acceptance of the project or phase. This acceptance signifies that the customer or sponsor has verified that all deliverables meet the requirements and that the project objectives have been achieved. Without this formal sign-off, the project cannot be considered officially closed, even if all other administrative tasks and transitions have occurred. Formal acceptance is the ultimate stamp of completion. Question 22. A project manager is overseeing a product development project using an Agile approach. The team consistently delivers working software at the end of each sprint, but stakeholders are expressing dissatisfaction because the delivered features, while functional, do not align with their evolving understanding of market needs. What is the most likely root cause of this dissatisfaction? A. The team is not performing sufficient quality assurance on their deliverables. B. The product owner is not effectively representing stakeholder needs or prioritizing the backlog. C. The Agile development process is inherently ill-suited for this type of product. D. The project manager is not properly controlling scope changes. Answer: B. The product owner is not effectively representing stakeholder needs or prioritizing the backlog. In an Agile project, the product owner, PO, is the single person responsible for maximizing the value of the product resulting from the work of the development team. If the team is delivering functional software, but it doesn't align with evolving market needs or stakeholder expectations, it strongly suggests a breakdown in the product owner's role. This includes a failure to adequately gather, understand, and translate stakeholder needs into actionable backlog items, or ineffective prioritization that results in building the wrong features first. This is a core responsibility of the product owner, not necessarily a flaw in Agile itself or the team's quality. If stakeholders are unhappy with what's delivered, look to the product owner's guidance. Question 23. A project manager discovers that a critical team member has been over-reporting progress on their tasks, leading to an artificially inflated CPI, Cost Performance Index, and SPI, Schedule Performance Index. This misrepresentation is threatening the accuracy of forecasts and potentially masking underlying issues. What should the project manager do first? A. Immediately correct the reported progress data to reflect the true status. B. Confront the team member directly and apply disciplinary action. C. Verify the accuracy of the reported progress through independent means and gather evidence. D. Inform the project sponsor of the fraudulent reporting. Answer: C. Verify the accuracy of the reported progress through independent means and gather evidence. Before taking any corrective or disciplinary action, the project manager must first verify the reported progress. Relying solely on the team member's self-reporting, especially when suspicion of misrepresentation exists, is risky. Independent verification, e.g., inspecting deliverables, reviewing code repositories, cross-referencing with other team members, checking actual hours against task completion, is crucial to ascertain the true status and gather objective evidence. Only after verification can the project manager make informed decisions about correcting data, addressing the team member, or escalating the issue appropriately. Always verify information before acting on assumptions, especially in sensitive situations. Question 24. A project is nearing its planned completion date, but significant outstanding work remains due to unforeseen technical challenges and resource unavailability. The project manager needs to determine the earliest possible date the project can realistically finish, considering these constraints. Which schedule compression technique would be most appropriate to calculate this new date without altering the project scope? A. Crashing. B. Fast tracking. C. Resource leveling. D. Scope reduction. Answer: B. Fast tracking. Fast tracking is a schedule compression technique where activities that would normally be done in sequence are performed in parallel, or partially in parallel, with some overlap. This allows the project to potentially finish earlier without changing the project scope. Crashing involves adding more resources or working overtime to accelerate activities, typically increasing cost. Resource leveling smooths out resource allocation but can extend the schedule. Scope reduction changes the project scope, which the question specifies should not be altered. Fast tracking is specifically designed to accelerate the schedule by resequencing activities, accepting increased risk for potential rework, but not changing the overall work to be done. To finish sooner without cutting scope, look for ways to overlap activities. Question 25. A project manager is leading a software development project using an Agile approach. The team is consistently meeting sprint goals, but the customer is dissatisfied because the product delivered is not meeting their evolving business needs, even though all user stories are technically implemented. This suggests a disconnect in delivering true value. What is the most likely area where the project manager, as a servant leader, should focus their efforts to address this problem? A. Improving the team's technical skills and coding standards. B. Enhancing the efficiency of daily stand-up meetings. C. Facilitating better collaboration and communication between the product owner and stakeholders. D. Implementing stricter scope management and a formal change control process. Answer: C. Facilitating better collaboration and communication between the product owner and stakeholders. If the team is meeting sprint goals and user stories are implemented, but the customer is still dissatisfied with the value of the delivered product, it indicates a gap in understanding or prioritizing the right features. This is a common issue when the product owner, PO, isn't fully connected to evolving business needs or struggles to effectively communicate those needs to the development team, or vice versa. The project manager, acting as a servant leader in an Agile context, should focus on improving the flow of information and feedback between the customer/stakeholders and the PO, and ensuring the PO has the necessary skills and support to prioritize the backlog for maximum business value. Delivering right features is as important as delivering on time.